the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today or what we doing today or whatever it is, it's gonna be good. Woo!
I love you all so much.
Just whatever the first thing that
Adam and Eve.
we can see you now.
I know, and thank God.
Yeah, that's generally the response we get from everybody, but we keep it clean.
Hey everybody. Tammy too much.
Uh-oh.
I'll fix it. How you doing, Red? What's up, Red?
I'm trying to get us on the let's see.
Let me see. Oh, I killed it. I'm killing it. I am killing it.
Got it?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, I killed it. I'm killing it.
Rez, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, Poppy Chulo. Good morning, Nathan. How you doing, brother?
Chulo.
Pop, can you do us one big solid? Can you call? Can you call me? Call me.
If you need someone
I
to
knew you
talk
was gonna do
to.
it. I knew it. The number to call, you know what it is, Pop. Let's see if I actually got it right. 347-996-5394. Please, Chulo, give me a call with your beautiful self. He's so fine. He's so fine. Ain't he fine?
Yes.
Ain't he fine?
Distinguished dapper young man that he is.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Woo, woo. Okay, so I'm assuming you heard that.
Yes.
I'm testing it all out because, yo, you don't know. I be going through things. I be trying different things.
That was a good one, as they say.
Yeah, man, that was the jam back in the day.
Wow.
I'm in good spirits, although I took one look at social media this morning and got PO'd. You know, it's just, I'll be glad. I'll be so glad. Okay. Pop, can you hear me?
Good morning.
Did you hear him, Rez?
I heard him very softly, yes.
Can you hear me?
Good morning.
I'm hearing echoes of.
Good morning.
Pop, can you hear me? Uh-oh, I don't think. Okay, hold on a second. Hold up. Wait a minute. And if not, we'll just. Pop, can you hear me now?
Yes.
But there's an echo. We're getting there. All right, thanks, Pop. I'm gonna let it go now. I'm gonna let it go, baby. Echo and all. All right. So I just wanted to where are we? Jesus, I got like 5 things going on. Okay, I just wanted to see whether or not that system is working. And whether or not, you know, so now that I got that, Pop and I will offline figure out how to get rid of echoes and all that extra stuff. But I'm getting there. Tammy Too Much is on duty and trying to make it do what it used to do, but even better. Okay?
We trying to. Tammy Too Much.
How you doing, Rez? How you doing?
I'm good, actually. I'm you know, I'm just staying vigilant, man. I'm just kind of watching what's spinning around the world, because I believe it's all distractions from what we really need to do, you know? I mean, have you noticed that it's less talk about the elections and more talk about so much other dumb shit that either does not uh, matter to us or does not concern us, really, you know? Um, it is just so many things. But I would like to talk about, which I think is helpful to some people. You let me know some of the antics that are going on with trying to stop or eliminate or, distract you from voting. Um, because
Oh yeah.
all roads lead to the vote. You know what I mean? And let's not get this twisted. Media in every country, I'm not even going to say United States just solely, but media in every country rules the popular opinion, and it's a very, 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 very manipulative and dangerous tool in the wrong hands. If you want people to think like you or whatever, that's the fastest way and the easiest way to start, you know, some kind of confusion, mass confusion. You know what I mean? So I think that if you've ever not listened to your intuition, now is the time, because the things that they are doing are like unscrupulous. Like I sent out in this very uh supportive group chat today, um something that Joy Reid posted on her page, with them sending out, and I'm saying them, but folks, I'll just say, sending out, because I'm not trying to influence your vote, although I think the writing is on the wall. And again, you don't have to like everybody, but vote your interests and don't vote things that are against you, you know. But that being said, they're sending out documentation for the migrants, and approving people over here to house them. It was all crazy talk. It looks officials on official paper. They're sending it out to seniors, and other folks that are older that may not have the wherewithal to govern everything that's going on in real time. And I think that's a little scary, because then it sways your opinion about whatever uh, rhetoric they're pushing about the migrants coming over, and it's full of trash, and it's saying that you approve for this amount of money per migrant. It's housing them to make it seem like American citizens are now using their homes to shelter them. Did you get a chance to take a look at it, Jay?
No, I haven't seen that exactly what you're talking about specifically. However, there are tons and tons of different types of shenanigans and bull crappy going on right now. And it's all coming from the Republican side of things. Let me just say this. You may not be trying to sway people to vote one way or the other, but I am,
Okay.
because I have too much at stake. You have too much at stake. Everybody that I love and care about, and I've said it before, it's a hard it shouldn't feel as difficult to say I love my country as it is hard to say it,
Right.
because of all the bullshit and shenanigans that have been that has been inflicted upon my people and others.
Right.
You're not just my people, whoever who I consider to be my people, but any people, but with that being said, just like I love my mother and she's the perfect mother for me, she's not a perfect human being.
Right.
You understand? But I love her. I
Right.
love my people.
Right.
We're not all perfect,
At all.
right? But I
Right.
love my country, and it pains me to see what the Republicans, and I'm just saying it, and yes, it's my opinion. Okay? It's my opinion. And it's my feelings. And my feelings matter to me. And your feelings matter to you.
Yeah.
Again, it's hard when you say to people, don't vote against your own best interest, because number one, what I think is in your best interest may be contrary to what you believe to be in your best interest. For example, there's a gentleman that I know who's Caucasian, who is a who doesn't have a lot of money, let's just say. And he lives in the neighborhoods that would be negatively impacted by a Republican regime. I have to call it a regime because they intend to take it over. They intend to get rid of public housing. They want to use that real estate to earn money and pocket it. That it's in Project 2025. People don't understand it. So I said, to him, because he's straight up a pro-Trumper. I gotta call it. It's getting too close, right? I gotta call it as I see it. So I'm talking to him, and I said, you don't want to vote against your own best interest. He said, who are you to say what's in my best interest? I'm a grown ass man. And I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. And in stepping back, for him, he doesn't care about being homeless and looking for a place to live. And he's also one of those people who earns money in overtime, and he's thinking that his overtime will not be taxed because that's what Trump and them keep saying. What he doesn't realize is that there will be no more paid overtime. Y'all listening? Are y'all listening? In my head, I have this really nasty thing that I just think about people that I won't let pass my lips when they believe the stuff that comes out of their mouths. I just and then they regurgitate it, and I'm like, you people.
Voting on projections. I'm going to give you this, and then when you get there,
Right.
it's like, what happened to this? What happened to this?
Exactly. Because if you remember, it's not like he's never been president before. He said a lot of shit and did nothing.
Right.
In 2 weeks, you're going to see the best infrastructure. In 2 weeks, the infrastructure bill, that shit went on for 4 years while he went to the golf course, and while he made millions and millions of money off of his hotel in DC, having people come and stay there. He made millions. People, he didn't take his salary. That's because he was making millions and billions of dollars. Every time his ass went golfing, he was charging the government for him to go golfing. Come on, people. The overtime thing. There's not going to be any more paid overtime. Okay?
That's how you control that.
Exactly. You're going to be working 40 hours and more a week. And when it's more a week, it's going to be PTO, personal time off. You're not going to get any more money for overtime. Pay attention.
That's illegal, though. You can't have somebody work and then give them PTO for the work.
But here's the thing, Terez. This is that what you just said is exactly the thing. The Supreme Court has given him the option to do anything he wants to do. He can put any law, and nobody can do a damn thing because he's going to be an autocrat. There's nothing that he can do that's illegal. He will be immune. All of his worst instincts during the first 4 years, there were people in place to stop him. There were people that said, sorry, Mr. President, you can't do that. You can't throw them in jail. You can't do this. He still had people illegally investigated. He still weaponized the IRS against people he perceived to be his enemies. How dare you talk about me? That shit is illegal. He did a lot of illegal stuff. The 2 impeachments is because he did illegal shit. And the Senate protected him because Mitch McConnell had the majority in the Senate, and they protected him. That's why you got to vote up and down the line. Blue, 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 blue. Just in case his black ass. You hear me? Just in case he gets in. Okay? the Supreme Court, because he got impeached, and if there's a Democratic Senate and House, they can impeach him and they can remove him, right? But the Supreme Court has put in he's immune, so that even if he's impeached to remove, they can't remove him because the Supreme Court will say you can't charge him.
But and let me back up some to your point that you made about housing, and how they're trying to get rid of all public housing. I just like to, and you're absolutely right. But let me say this too: they started the public housing piece. See, these things just don't start happening when a person starts to run. There's some folks that are galvanizing, that are making plans, and they'll 10 years be ahead of us. You know what I mean? Because there have been in various inner cities, public housing has been privatized already. Giuliani started it in New York before he left as mayor, selling off public housing. And what they do is typically the same formula that works with real estate. They devalue it. They don't fix it. So you have repairs up the wazoo. They devalue it. And then and then the city says, I don't have the money to pay for all that needs to be done. So then they blow the whistle for private developers to come over and say, okay, well, you know what? We'll fix them up. But hey, we want a piece. Because if you notice, in every inner city, most of the projects are near main thoroughfares, like near airports, near bridges, near tolls, tunnels, near things that, you have, in and out, good transportation modes in. They've knocked down a lot of projects and or sold them off. And that started over 10 years ago. So now we roll up and they sit on prime real estate in each city, prime real estate areas where you can develop. And this is not a game. It's in almost every city. New York and Chicago had the biggest housing, what do you call it? Housing, what's the word I'm looking for? Portfolios. And now it's just New York. And if you look, you'll see a lot of projects in New York. They have these they're wrapped in scaffolding, because of the quote unquote repairs that are going on. And they change up the demographic, what's allowed inside, meaning they'll do, let's say we want 80% working people and 20% non-working people. And, and that number keeps wedging up and up and up. So then you'll have 85% working people or 90% working people. And that 30% that, that you pay in public housing for rent is going up with the amount that people make, because you know that whatever you make in public housing is 30% of that is your rent. So they've started that. Good to your point, JaVonne. They started that a long time ago. Giuliani was a part of that situation. In fact, I was around when he sold Metrotech, and with that came Navy Walk projects in Brooklyn and quite a few others. And I had friends that were living in Navy Walk at the time, and they would come, because I worked with them, and they would come in and they would say, hey, you know what? They offered us this for, my apartment, but I'm going to hold out. And I should say, take the offer, because the next offer is going to be lower, because they're trying to get them to move, And by the time it was all said and done, they got a third of whatever was initially offered and then forced to move out, because the building was considered unsafe or uninhabitable to live in while they fixed it, which is bananas. Bananas. These are plans that are put in place for a long time. Also, when you get into the voters' booths, or if you do a absentee ballot, please make sure you see all your Democratic candidates on the card, because although they fixed it, we don't know how many got out for, what was it, Missouri?
Yeah. So here's the other thing, and Rez, you're absolutely right. Damn, I'm still trying to work with this thing. I still hear an echo. It's annoying. Okay. So their plans are And along with the housing, they've also started banning the books.
Mm.
They've started, but this is not just going to be a thing for red states. It's going to be across the country. Books that are written by and that talk about Black Americans, African Americans, LGBT, anything like that, anything that really has to do with empathy. Um, they want to create, white Christian soldiers and just really have a Nazi sort of. They want Warsaw, Germany kind of pre-World War II kind of stuff. Like numbers on people and that kind of bullshit. I mean, they want, and like Nathan said, all Trump has to do as president is put his evil plans in an executive order. Just like that, it's an official act, and Trump can do it with impunity. The SCOTUS gave him that power. You have to understand, this is not a choice between, will my taxes go up or will my taxes not go up? Will they do something about the potholes in the street or not? No, whatever your thing is. What is your thing? Yes, abortion is a big fucking deal. I get it. And even more so than just abortion for the sake of abortion, women's health care. If you are pregnant and you have, a problematic pregnancy, you should be able to go to your doctor and discuss your options. And between you and your doctor, you make a decision for your life. You should not have to be in sepsis and dying before they can perform a procedure that's going to save your life. And this is going to be in every state if Trump gets in. Don't listen to what he says. He never does what he says.
Never.
Every week, it was in 2 weeks. There's gonna be the best health care plan. We're gonna get rid of Obamacare. We're gonna get rid of Obamacare. Okay.
And he's still and the fact that he was president for 4 years, he was saying that every other week, as
Every
you said.
other week. Same
And then
thing with
he has concepts
infrastructure week. That never came. He has a concept of a plan.
to
Come
today.
on.
So you done sat
Right,
like
right.
4,
You
8, and you still talking about concepts of a plan? Get out of here.
I'm not going to say that I am not going to try to sway your vote. Yes, the fuck I am. Because clearly, if you're listening to me right now, if you are within the sound of my voice, and by the way, I looked today, and there are still where we have more listeners in the UK, China, Japan, Canada still. Thank you for everybody who chimes in and listens. And if you are an American citizen overseas and you received a ballot, like Terez said, please check your ballot and make sure that everyone that's supposed to be on the ballot is on the ballot.
Right.
If you see Kamala Harris there, check her name. That's all I'm saying.
Check her name and make sure any other Democrat that falls underneath there.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I have to go hard for it. I have to go hard. Typically, I don't give a shit who you vote for, what you wear, whether you sashay and strut, or if you walk with a bop. I don't give a fuck. It's your business. I am 100% Team Waltz, mind your own goddamn business, which is the whole Karen movement. Okay? Was if you just mind your business, it wouldn't hurt your ass so much. Mind your fucking business.
See, and that, and the spikes in that are gonna be outrageous, because it's like, with life being incredibly short, you stake your claim in my country. I get it, my country too. So where are we going with this? Where are we going? Because you feel that some people should not be here based on, or you feel that because they have an accent, they weren't actually born here? Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me?
Hey, Gigi, I'm gonna see if I can give you a link. I know you want to chime in, if that's okay. If you're busy, let me know. But if you're trying to chime in, let me know because I would have you call in, but the telephone thing, I'm not really sure how that is working right now. So
Happy Saturday.
yeah, I did something with my computer too, and there's a lot of things I don't have access to. I think I started eliminating cookies. And when you eliminate cookies, apparently if you eliminate the wrong cookie, you lose a lot of shit.
Well, the link to what you were doing last, yeah.
Right. So I done bust up a couple of links, but it's like hot dogs.
But you should do that every now and again so that you don't have any situations occur like I had with mine. I had to stop my email because I didn't know what was real and what wasn't coming through. So
Yeah, I get that. I get that 100%.
no viruses.
Oh, okay. She's at the airport right now, heading home from seeing Tyree. It's my little Scooty. I don't care if he's an old man with 5 babies. It don't matter. He's still my little Scooty. Okay. You
Scooty.
could, he told you to tell me hello. Well, you tell him I said hi, Scoot. He hates that shit. I know. He's like, hey, my name is my name is Tyree, but he's still so cute. Let me tell you about her son real quick. It's good to have a happy break in your mind after you've been thinking about all this stuff. So really quickly, I was new to this church in New Brunswick where I had met the elder Kevin E. Taylor, which I believe he's now a bishop, right?
Yes.
And I was new to the church, didn't really know people. And this cute little boy, I think he was no older than 9 years old at the time, something like that, with these cute little dimples, came up to me and held my hand. He said, I'll be your friend. My heart freaking melted. And it was on from that point. That was my boy from that point forward. Okay. That's my boy. He's my friend. I haven't seen him in years, but I pray for him always. Always.
Oh,
So
nice.
you let him know that he's my forever friend.
You
And
have the right to vote. If anyone tries to stop you, call the election protection hotline. I think that is paramount. I think I'm gonna start posting that. Thank you, Pop. The election protection hotline at 1-866-687-83. I'm sorry, 8683. Again, that's 1-866-687-8683. If you've already voted, remember that democracy takes time. Yes, it does.
And also, if you get to your polling place on election day and they tell you you're not registered, you have the right to request a provisional ballot. Okay?
You know what I did? I went online, right, to check to see if my registration was still hitting, and it was. I took a screenshot of it. So if they try that BS, I'm like, here's what it said X, Y, and Z the day before registration. I mean, day before I'm going to vote, I'm going to take another one. What happened all of a sudden that I'm not registered anymore? And as of this date, I was registered. Like you ain't just purging people for no reason. And yes, that's a very valid. I didn't even know that you have the right to request a provisional ballot. Thank you, Nathan. I didn't even know that. That's another two points I'm going to put up on my personal social media.
Exactly. And
The
please,
election.
please share this information. I'm gonna leave it up here for a while. So anybody who sees it, you can please copy the information or just retype the information on your social media. Gigi, I know you have a nice following. Please let people know that there's an election protection hotline, and the number again is 866-687-8683.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going down.
And also, if you are denied the right, if they say you are not registered, you have the right to request a provisional ballot. If you are not given that provisional ballot, I would suggest that you take down the name of the person who is denying you that right. Ask for a supervisor, speak to the supervisor, and get the supervisor's name and write that down. This is it's unfortunate that we have to do this, but this is the kind of shit that goes on in communist countries. And
Yes.
it's so funny that they accuse Kamala of being a communist
Hmm.
while Trump is talking about being an autocrat. Like like the Trumpers, they call her a communist, and yet they know what Trump is up to, and they don't understand that he's the communist.
They know. I believe they know. I believe, but what
I think
we're
some of
up
them are
against
just
is
freaking stupid, Terez.
yeah.
They're not thinking. They're not thinking it through. I think they have lost their capacity to think through what they're doing.
I put it like this, JaVonne. There are some people in this country that do not want a president that does not look like their use and likeness. Period. So it doesn't matter. This man could stand in the middle of Times Square and take a crap. They would not care. And he knows that. He knows exactly what he's doing with who he's doing it with. Anybody that is not in their likeness,
Okay,
they
so
don't like.
I get the hard, cold stone racist. I get that. What I don't get is the people that look like you and me.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking to. I mean, like, you cannot change the heart of a racist. Help me to understand my people that don't think it's possible that they would end up back on the back of the bus. Or don't understand that if they're in public housing, they could lose their housing. That those that work overtime will not get paid overtime. Because don't believe that, oh, well, I got a union and the union is going to, none of that is going to matter. Oh, we have labor laws. That doesn't matter if Trump gets in, please. I feel like I'm begging people to freaking get it. And then it's going to be the same sorry people saying that they're sorry. That they didn't understand. Oh, how did this happen? And then somebody's going to say, well, did you vote? Or did you vote for Trump? Yeah, but I didn't know. They'd be sitting home alone saying, yeah, but I didn't know. At the end of the day. At the end of the day, they're in denial. The current movie, Civil War, is a great rendition of what can happen. So where's that movie playing? Gigi. Gigi stays informed. Okay. She's very much informed, and I think I helped set that fire, and Gigi went bananas with it. She's even further into, like, I don't even know what this movie is. Matter of fact, everybody, since we're talking
Netflix.
It's on Netflix. All right, so I'm not really a large proponent of promoting things that I haven't seen or read. I like to check it out first, but if Gigi says it, let's all check it out and we could come back and discuss it next week. It's on Netflix. The name of the movie is Civil War. It's a film that hit a little too close to home. It was scary, according to Nathan James. I gotta watch it. I'll watch it today.
Wow.
I'll watch it today because we got to get on this stuff, man. You need to. This is not the time to not watch the news.
I do have to give myself like days on, days off. The closer we get to the election, just to and shout out for the people that get anxious and throw things. That would be me. I have to watch my intake of certain things because too much fuckery, it makes me angry, particularly about what's going on. And I think that our news has been flooded with so much other stuff that really doesn't matter. Like whatever's going to be is going to be. I don't care. But the election is something that we need to pay attention to in a real way and be able to be hyper vigilant about what's going on around you, with these ballots, how you vote, how you're treated when you go there, the whole 9 yards, because it's going to be some crap. It's going to be some crap or some attempts to have some crap. And, and report it if it happens. Don't think, oh, you just used your voice. Report it and use your voice.
Yeah, absolutely. So the movie Civil War is not currently available on Netflix. It is available on Prime. So let's do that. Let's check it out and let's get back, and talk about it. Gigi says she watched it twice. Okay. So I'm definitely gonna watch it. There's something that I'm doing in with my work. I'm not with my work, but at work, with three of my colleagues. We have Black Education Days. And
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, on Mondays we get together at lunch, and well, because I'm the oldest, and I started it because I get frustrated when there's certain things they don't know. They didn't, about the past. I'm like, so there's the people, the dynamics of the group is very interesting. We have one Caucasian LGBT person, and two Black women. There's only four of us really, right?
That's all you need.
And now the spouse of the LGBT person wants to join us, and I'm like, let her in. She's more than welcome.
Right.
Everybody, right? So what we do is, how I've been starting is just by watching. We all watch a particular film that I pick, and then we come back and we discuss it on Monday at lunchtime.
Now, are these films like one shot deals, or are these series?
Movies.
Okay.
Old movies. Old movies. We started with Roots, but not the original version of Roots.
Okay.
The updated, I think it's the 2012 version. It's a lot more graphic. It's the same story, but it's more like there were censors. There was censorship in the 70s when Roots originated that you don't have now.
By Alex Haley.
Right. So you could tell a lot more stuff and show more detailed stuff than you could back then. And it's really a gross fucking movie, but it is what it is.
But that's a series, right?
It was. Yeah, but you can get it. You can watch. We watched it. We didn't watch it at lunchtime. Like, I gave everybody 2 weeks period of time to watch it.
So what was the feedback on that?
Everybody had various, opinions, and that was good. And then we watched Queen, which is the other side of his family, but that one stars Halle Berry. And really, she, her father was her enslaver, and her mother was enslaved, and it really showed how the other people who were enslaved reacted to her. Her finding a lady who was passing for white, and she tried to pass for white, and at one point she lost her mind. But I mean, given where she was and what was going on, but she was also a strong woman. So that was also something to talk about race. And and then we watched, what did we the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. I really wanted to introduce Cicely Tyson and her work because she was phenomenal.
So they didn't know Cicely Tyson and her work?
Excuse me?
They didn't know Cicely Tyson?
No, these people are young, and sometimes I remember being like when I was DJing and stuff, and I bring my younger cousins, like my cousins' kids. So they were like teenagers or whatever, and I'd go and they'd help me carry it because we had back then it was equipment,
Crates, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
crates and shit like that. I'm like, okay, boys, and my nephews and they'd be like, oh, that's dope. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the background music is from the Police. What do you mean the Police?
Hmm.
So I show them the cover of the album with the group The Police. It's a white group called The Police, and they made a rap on top of it. Yeah. Like just when, not for nothing, much respect to MJ Blige right now, but I had some concerns back in the day. I'm being polite by saying concerns. I didn't like this is just JaVonne, just JaVonne. And anybody who knows me, I don't like many people doing remakes of Shaka Khan music. That's just me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I'm a shockaholic and I'm, just a right. So I would play the original by Shaka Khan for them. So I've always been like, okay, it's all right for you to like what you like, but
Right.
understand where it comes from. That's
Right.
all.
Oh, absolutely. And I agree with that in music. Like when I would hear Biggie, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom. That's Sergio Mendes, darling. Okay.
exactly.
You know?
Understand where things come from.
Yeah.
And, in watching these older films, understand, we can watch the film so that it's not biopics or although we will watch Four Little Girls, but like it's not like
Mm.
a what do you call it? Those movies that are so boring because they
Yeah, biopics.
yeah, but yeah, anyway, I just, those movies are just more interesting because they're movies. They're meant to entertain you and they tell a story. And so we can talk about the time. We can talk about what we think the time things were going on during those times. And then I can also introduce some legislative information about what was going on during those times
Mm.
and how we've morphed into today.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm starting with the slavery times and trying to come up to now. So one of the interesting things is our movie now. Oh, the last one we watched was Harriet.
Okay.
And so we talked about Harriet Tubman, who is my personal heroine, my favorite historical figure, you know. I believe in Harriet, that's my girl.
She needs
Um,
to be on the $20 bill, period.
absolutely, absolutely. And think about it. She had to go to the bathroom
Mm.
when she was doing this, right? And dogs.
Mm.
W- Women that were running away would get their period. And there's dogs looking for you. And you couldn't run to CVS and get some pads or tampons.
Listen.
In the movie Harriet, the Quaker abolitionist, and God bless all the abolitionists, okay? Thank you, sirs and madams, okay? He took her. Why you blocked? Why you blocked from commenting? You're not blocked from anything.
No, maybe the YouTube did it.
I don't know why. You family, stop it. We love you. I don't. That's weird. We'll figure that out after the show. I'll try to help figure out what's going on with that. That's crazy.
Hey,
Unless you're trying to do it from Facebook. On
Mm.
Facebook, because I'm not doing it on my personal page. I'm doing it on the In the Basement with JaVonne and Terez page today. So I don't know if that's it, but we'll figure that out. because I want everybody to be able to chime in. So what was I saying about Harriet? I was saying something about Harriet. Hey, Marsha,
Your God bless the
abolitionist. Right. Okay.
Mhm,
So he takes her to a certain point
mhm.
and he says, okay, Maryland is that way. That is freedom. He said, I can ride you over. I could take you over in my horse and buggy, or you can walk your way into freedom if you like. And she said, I think I'll walk, sir. Thank you very much. And he says, okay, it's 25 miles that way. Okay, pause there. 25 miles she's going to walk into freedom. She already done walked
Okay.
from Virginia to wherever, and she about to walk another 25 miles in shoes that Lord knows they're not as comfortable as the shoes we wear today.
I mean, her fight or flight and adrenaline was crazy.
Can you imagine? I'd be like, sir,
No.
could you take me on your buggy?
You know, she lived upstate for a long time before she passed, and,
Yes.
I would have loved to have met her just to see what encompassed that spirit, you know what I mean, in the
Mhm.
flesh while she was up there, because there's no way, like, you think about it right now, and it's like, so when people have gone to great lengths to just in what they believe in, it is so possible to win. You know what I mean? Like, and thousands of folks. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um Throughout the movie, they said there were periods where she said, "Don't you tell me what I can and cannot do." When they try to stop her from going back, "Oh, you'll never make it." She was like, "Don't tell me. I'm not going to stop because it's hard.
Hmm,
I'm not going to stop because it's dangerous." And we all know her famous quote is, "I could have freed a lot more if only they knew they were slaves."
hmm,
And that's how I feel about some of our people today.
hmm.
If only I could get to them to help them to understand that Trump doesn't like them. Trump's policies will hurt them and the people they care about. But it's a mentality. They are stuck. And I don't know how to help my people. And it hurts. It hurts. Not so much. I mean, it hurts because I'm afraid of what could happen to this country, but it also hurts that there are people, young and old,
Right.
that I can't reach, that I can't help to them to understand.
And it's also possible that we sit with far too much information too. You know what I mean? We sit with far too much information. Now, I thought about that because somebody called me out on that. Said, Terez, you grew up in a certain place at a certain time, and you were privy to a lot more information than we were. When you say stuff, sometimes it's like, what? And then we go check it out, and it's like, oh, snap, I didn't know that. And some of the things that may come as a matter of factly, for us, or, and it has nothing to do with intelligence. It's just that,
Yeah,
there's
no.
some things that I can't unsee. There's some things that I can't unhear, you know? So when you have it, it becomes attached to your central nervous system or your DNA, you know? So when you have the opinions, they're not based on just yanking stuff out your hind parts. They're based
Exactly.
on things that you saw. Like when I talk about Dr. Fauci, same deal.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
wait a second now.
Yeah.
Okay. Here
Yeah.
we go again now. But then I talk to folks that are, maybe weren't around or very, very young in the 80s and, that don't have the same understanding. And I think that's, in one way that's a beautiful thing because you want to embrace differences so that you can all come together because some things that I don't, know that they are affected with, but listen, we remember when the first computer was ushered in our lives in school or whatever. We remember all that stuff. We some of us know reel to reel and others don't. Some
Yep.
of us know cassette tapes and others
Exactly.
don't.
And this is one of the reasons why I'm taking them all the way back to bring them up. I take them all the way back to bring them up. Harriet, also, that movie is one of the first or the only ones that I've seen that actually reflects Harriet's time as a lieutenant during the Civil War. People forget that she was the very first female officer, and she was a spy for the Civil War. Of course, she did not get her pension the way she was supposed to, but that's what they do to us anyway. They still, give drama, but she served her country in big ways. Um Nathan says, I still can't understand why Mark Robinson, Herschel Walker, Candace Owens go so hard for Trump. They want us to go back to slavery and Jim Crow.
I don't understand. You know what? Okay. I don't not understand a lot of, because I listen to Candace Owens from time to time. And I'm not going to say she's a poop butt, right? But what I find is a lot of stuff that she talks about is without a connection. So there's like a dead nerve ending there, and sometimes it feels like a dead nerve ending that she's not willing to explore. So when you have these opinions, because all they are opinions, you know what I mean? That's it. It's not based on anything that she can go way, way back with. She can quote something to illustrate whatever her point is, but it's without the guts of what really goes on. And then I watched her interview that she recently released with Kanye West. And in that, I thought she was caping for him the whole time. It was like, and I didn't understand why, because, her opinions weren't as strong as they normally are. And she's just, she's interesting to say the least, and I don't think should stir, just like Stephen A. Smith. I think he's trash personally, and anybody who listens to him is trash. And, I think that, most of his opinions, and I'm saying it because I really, obviously have an issue with him because he jumps on things that, like sometimes I have to say to myself, what, is sports slow? Because his opinions on other things just get real interesting, Dr. Umar, I believe that he gets on and he's like, we have a lot of folks in this community that hit these platforms and it becomes very interesting. Very interesting. With your prophesizing and your ego way, way, way in front of you, like it's so much I have to limit my intake on some of it,
I have to say, first, let me just say hello to Brandon, who's watching us on Instagram, Marsha, Jazzy Supreme, the official Lisa Ward, Toy. Also shout out to Elisa Little, Kimberly Callahan. Yes, we are back every weekend. We are back. It's a very important time. It's an important time that we get back. And I just want to say, for me, I cannot. My time is too precious. Time is too short. I can't give Candace Owens a moment. Sorry. I did it once, and I'm reclaiming my time. I was like, I was like, Auntie, reclaiming my time. Why am I listening to this silly chick? And why do so many? I just couldn't. When I hear brothers, men, black men specifically, sounding redunculous and talking about things and people like Trump, let's just say, in a positive light, like we need to, and Trump is right. As soon as that shit comes out of their mouth, I'm like, what did your mother do that hurt you so bad? Was it your mother? Was it your grandma? Or did your auntie touch you under the covers? What happened, young man? Use your big boy words. It's okay to cry. You are hurt. Too many black men are contrary to sisters. Stop it. Use your big boy. We haven't always had it easy either. We had the same mamas and papas. And sometimes we were hurt in different ways than you. But guess what? We have no other choice but to take the community and put it on our backs and carry it and raise it up. Why did it have to be Black women that started on the Zoom?
Because we are the earth. We
I
are the earth.
understand that, but it's not even a question to you, Terez. It's a question to our brothers. Why weren't you the ones that saw this sister and said, you know what? Come on, man, let's do it. We're men. We're going to stand for our community. We're going to stand for our sisters. Instead, we got, there's a lot of brothers that's doing the right thing. There's a lot of Black men out there that's doing the right thing. I love you all. There are Black men I see personally every day that's taking care of their children when the mothers can't. Okay. So I don't want you to think, oh, JaVonne's coming down on Black men. You know what? Not all. My father
If it serves you, you'll think it. If that serves you, you will think it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Because the moment two women call out, two Black women call out any kind of situation with our brothers, it becomes the oh. My thing is, if that serves you, you will think it, and you'll miss the entire message. But just like Malcolm has said, we're still saying the Black women are the most disrespected people on the planet. Yet we've done the most when we galvanize on the planet. Prove me wrong. That's all I'm saying. Prove me wrong.
You know what? And I agree with this too. SSM, how you doing? Says, but I also believe that many of these internet personalities are being paid by conservative think tanks. Dr. Umar, Tariq, Nasheed, McKee, so Michi and X and etc. I agree. And some of them don't even realize. And recently there was a whole big scandal that a lot of these white podcasters that were going hard, these right wingers, were getting paid by Russia. They ain't even know. Spreading Russian misinformation that is going to bring down this country. Kimberly says, I think Black men are capable of being just as sexist and misogynistic as any other men. And it's true.
Amen. Amen. It just hurts when it's coming from within, because it's like, oh, okay.
Yes. And
I'd rather know. I'd rather know than not, though. You know what I mean? I'd rather know than not. And it makes me sad when you're given the information, the same information that I have, and you make your choice based on, because you can't make it on anything else. I like that little meme that walks out, not walks out, the meme that people were posting that says, y'all post your resumes next to Kamala's. I want to see something.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, mm-hmm. Oh, we won't, because I can't. Kimberly.
Yeah, she says, don't get me started on Dr. Umar Johnson. I don't
Doctor in quotes.
Yeah, I don't give these folks my attention. I just don't. Yes, we are. I had a very long conversation. This is Janelle Torres. I had a very long conversation with my son this week. I told him I feel like I failed him by not discussing these topics more with him as a Black woman raising a Black man.
You didn't fail him, because you still got time.
Right. You're doing it now.
And now he's at a space where he can have his opinion and converse with you back and forth. You know?
You didn't fail him. You didn't fail him. Yeah, you didn't fail him. It's things happen when they're supposed to happen.
Yes.
All right. So that's that. And the way they're supposed to happen. I'm just praying that we're not supposed to become a communistic society, an autocratic society with a king like Trump. That would just be awful for everybody. Everybody. Okay.
Just like remember the miners, the coal miners, that he had promised all that stuff to when he was running.
Look, his tariffs is the reason why he had to bail out the farmers, because his tariffs because of his tariffs, the Chinese then put tariffs on the exports. See, you try to punish some other country by raising the price of the stuff here so that we don't buy their stuff here, then when we try to sell our stuff there, they do the same thing and worse, or they just don't buy our stuff.
How about that?
And then, so the farmers were suffering.
Or the things that we've outsourced as a country
Right.
just don't come anymore. Remember when we were going through the pandemic and we had no like
Toilet
chips and
paper.
computers and things, like
Yeah.
just.
But then he gave chips to China that helped their military, and China don't like us. Okay? And Kamala is like, look, listen, people. Okay? So look, when he did that, when they had to bail out farmers, a lot of the black farmers did not get the bailout money.
Let me ask a question.
Hold up, let me just finish this point.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I just want to finish this point. Black farmers did not get the bailout money, and so when Biden got in, he gave money specifically and only to black farmers. I just want to put that out there because people don't understand. There's just certain things that if we're not personally affected by it, like we live in metropolitan areas, so we don't know, we're not paying attention to what's going on in Kansas and the farms and shit like that. But
Well, in a sense, some of us are because
and some and most aren't, which is why they are voting against.
But who owns the most farmland? I'll wait.
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
I do.
Okay.
Mr. Gates.
Oh, okay.
You ever seen him plant any squash?
That's not surprising.
What I was going to say is I don't, you know what I'm careful about, 2J? I'm careful about taking on any of the opinions having to do with other countries from our administration. Because because I know what kind of bullies the United States can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've traveled enough to know that other folks have opinions about the United States as well. Just like they sit here and sometimes they want to tell us our rhetoric over us being the greatest nation. I believe we are a great nation, but I believe that we have a stockpile of ways to go. You can't be a great nation and the two most vulnerable populations that you have are suffering, and that's our youth and our seniors. And quite frankly, it's like you sat and listened to stuff that Trump said about Mexico. That is not true. A lot of it isn't just not true. I think about China. I don't know if that's true that they don't like us.
Well, I think here's the thing. Here's the thing about China and other communist societies. All right, so there's communism, there's autocracy, there's democracy, and etc. We have a united front with other democratic nations, and we are busy trying to spread democracy across the world, whatever. Communists are busy trying to spread communism across the world. And that is why Putin, who is a communist.
Putin is different. You notice I didn't add Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't add Russia. But I'm thinking, if that's the case, the United States is in debt to China quite a bit.
No, absolutely. And
No.
China owns a lot of pieces of America, and there are some Russian pieces of America. There's, different countries. However, we are, the thing about geography is really and diplomacy. That's why everybody can't be a diplomat.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't claim to be one, and I don't understand everything about all of the relationships between countries. Let's put it like that, okay?
Okay.
But I do understand that we have been in a race with China for technology.
Okay.
There's always, especially when it comes to America. How you doing, Sandra?
Hey, Sandra.
Military power. And that's because of the danger, the threat of war, not democratic countries against democratic countries, but democratic countries and communistic countries. And yeah, that's basically has been it,
I understand.
right?
I just don't.
And so what I'm trying to say is not that they don't like us. Yeah, they like that they get money, they like that we trade with them, they like those things. However, China also has been supporting, well, loaning some support, not I don't want to say supporting like they like how we support some people that I don't think we should be supporting, but that's not my business. I don't understand it wholly. There's things that go on in back rooms that I'm not invited to, so I don't know what is, right? So I'm going to leave that alone for now, but because I have bigger fish to fry. For me, my bigger fish is this upcoming election, and then we can deal with. See, wait, before, let me get off of this China thing for a second. And I I can't say that all right, Gigi, get home safe.
Yes, safe travels.
I can't say. What I can say is that China is not one of our quote unquote allies. They're not one of our quote unquote allies that we fight with at this point.
Okay.
So that's what I mean in terms of China doesn't like us. I don't mean like, oh, they want to go to war with us or anything like that. I'm not saying that.
Right.
What I'm saying is that our allies are like France, Germany, whatever, like the European countries and, other places that we have fought with on the same side.
It's interesting that we just have the government and the governing bodies of the United States, with the exception of some presidents, have had a god awful relationship. Like, remember, we have to think about our presidents and our Secretary of States and folks. They go over and I don't want to adopt their agenda if it's not real for us. You know what I mean? Real. You know what I mean? Meaning, just because Hillary Clinton, let's just say, doesn't get along with or has had pushback from certain people for whatever it is. Because the reality is, sometimes the United States, even though we say we're democratic nation or democracy, our agendas, we push that as well, and anybody that's not that, we may not call it communism, but if they don't see democracy the same way we do, and it's okay if we can all play. See, that's what I'm saying. I think what I'm trying to say mostly is that you're entitled to believe and do what you'd like to do. What you're not entitled to do is influence the way that I think. And it comes down to the same thing. So I don't want to fight you because you're different. How I want to search for the ways that we can do similar things together, because we're all more alike than we are different. Just because you're a communist does not mean we can't have a conversation, or just because you're a Republican does not mean we can't have a conversation. So when I take on when I hear things coming from our government about the way other countries are, and particularly my beloved Mexico. I'm going to say that over and over again because I've been going to Mexico since I was 16 years old. Been going to different places, and in some cases, I have friends that work in the government body of the country. And the way he painted them is not the way these people are. The way he painted them, and I'm not going to say everybody, but you can't say everything about everybody about United States either. How do you miss the fact that most of our terrorists are homegrown? How do you miss that? Okay? You don't talk about that conveniently. And we always know there's something that goes on in every I want to say, and this may be a broad brush, but correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. There's something that goes on every time we hear about a shooting or a mass, whatever, right? Because when we know the information is not released right away, what do we all think?
Well, come on. We know what we all think, and
Okay,
we're typically always right.
right. So at the end of the day, it's like, how do you, you know, it's almost like this clip I used to see, and I dug deeper into it, of Farrakhan, and he was being interviewed by, I forget what the journalist's name is, and he was talking about Nigeria, Hunty, and Farrakhan handed him his ass on a platter. He was talking about how corrupt and this and that and this and that, and he's the most corrupt in the world, and he was in his bag talking about Nigeria. Farrakhan paused, and he was like, he let him have it. He talked about Nigeria and how much of a younger country it was in the United States. And he's like, we are not the moral majority, like we're just not.
Yeah.
And how dare you with all of the stuff that we just conveniently remember. And you got to think, for a country that wants to erase certain parts of its history because it does not follow their narrative, for the people that are in it, I'm going to say that again, for Black people, for Indian, Native American people, for our narratives to be erased in this country, when we know we have contributed. This is in this country. China ain't doing this. Russia ain't doing it. It's in this country. They're banning books that say all of this. Like, no, we're not going to talk about that. What you think they're giving us in terms of other people if they're doing this internally? So I just want to be mindful sometimes that, do I think it's great? This is all I know in terms of living, and I've never lived in another country. But at the end of the day, we got a lot of work to do here, because we're not squeaky clean. We're just not. And neither is our government. Neither are the thinkers and rulers of this government that have been mostly white men to date.
Terez, if we were squeaky clean, we wouldn't be having the situation we're in.
But that's
No,
I know.
I don't think that anybody thinks that we're squeaky clean. I mean, we know what's going on, which
That's
is
the
why
narrative that's put out there. That's
I
the
think
narrative.
I think the reason that I know for me, the reason that I'm so passionate about not allowing Trump to become president again is because we will go full-fledged in this shit. I
Yeah.
mean, like, the white supremacists who are for the most part the terrorists, in this country, more people are terrorized by white supremacists than anything else. Ain't nobody else bothering people, right? I mean, come on, everybody knows it here. And they will then become the modern day Nazis that are dragging people out of homes. This is, again, let's I just need to get back to Trump's agenda. And I don't know enough about, I see what you're asking about Governor Newsom's reparations in California. I see that. I don't know enough to really have an opinion on it. Maybe Rez does. I'll pass it back to her in a minute to talk about that. But right now, it's just in my heart, my burning desire is not to be distracted and move away from the big freaking picture of Trump and Trumpism and Project 2025. And don't be confused that if he doesn't get elected, it's like, okay, we could breathe. Project 2025 is going away. It is something that the Republican Party has been working on for decades.
Yes.
And they finally have a puppet that they can put in place who's crazy enough to go for it. And JD VD Vance, or whatever his name is, he's just as malleable as anybody. Like, he's just a flunky.
Twisted. He's twisted.
And twisted. They don't care about this country surviving and thriving the way that it was on a trajectory. and they want to bring it back. It's slow. It's very, I mean, when I say slow, it's slower than watching paint dry. In terms of getting better, slower than that. But going from women not being able to have a credit card, not being able to call the police when their husband beat them, raped them,
not being able to have your own mortgage as a woman unless you were married to a man.
does your husband give you permission to work, little lady? I mean, going from there to a VP. Okay? That's fucking progress. And I don't care what people say. And they don't like it. From a black man being lynched for looking, for thinking, for writing, for reading, to being the president of the United States. That right there was the, okay, all right, that's it. Stop. That was it for them. And they've been going 1,000 ever since. Okay? And Project 2025, who wrote the forward? J.D. Vance. If Trump, who is 78 years old and cognitively fucked up, does not live another 4 years, then J.D. Vance, the man who wrote the forward to Project 2025, will be your president. The guy that allegedly, I don't know. I don't even want to speak about the things that he's allegedly done, but I could talk about the things that I've heard come out of his mouth about women, about single women, about childless women.
And still saying he's doubling down in some cases.
It's a fucking asshole. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get to this thing, because this is what's on people's minds. So, let's talk about it. But I'm here to tell you, reparations, we'll get them eventually. It's got to come. It may not be I feel like Martin now. It may not be in my lifetime. I may not get there with you, but it's coming.
Right. I generally like Governor Newsom.
Me too.
I would love to know what his thinking is behind that. I'll dig into that, and I have some obviously Californians that may be able to help me with that one, because generally I like the way that he thinks.
And I like the way he talks and the way he governs his state. So I don't know what the issue is either. I'd have to look into it. They dig in the hat, Rez. Hat is fire.
Yeah, I took this off my wife's shelf because my hair is looking crazy, and I'm not going to be able to get it done until October-ish. So.
Okay, so let me ask this. In Florida, Project 2025 is happening. Why hasn't this administration stepped in to stop it?
It's funny because there are nooks and crannies of it happening. The gist, because they're rolling out the little pieces of it as quote unquote test stuff. We see it though. We see it. So I agree with you. I don't know if it's as easy as the administration being able to stop it, because remember, they're federal, right? And just remember what we got going on in terms of the body that sits federally right now that's making the rules and regulations in Congress. So they're not apt to step in and stop it. We have to flip this. That's part of the reason why the vote is so necessary, so that we can, clear that up a bit, because Congress is, and this is, Congress is responsible for, they're not going to step in to fix something they want,
I'm glad you said that so calmly, Terez, because
it's hard.
The way I say it is, we gotta fucking vote blue. The reason Florida, for some fucking reason, has Republicans running the goddamn state. Fucking Republicans who want to stop Social Security. Most of the motherfuckers living in Florida are senior citizens. Why would senior citizens be voting for Republicans? I have no goddamn clue. The rest of them, minorities, for the most part. Why Latinos? ¿Qué fue? Huh? What's going on? Huh? They're going to deport people, drag people out of houses, and ask questions later in terms of your citizenship. They no longer want to have birthright citizenship.
And then what kind of sense does that even make?
So if you come here illegally and you give birth, your child will not be a citizen. The fuck? You have to vote the people in that's going to change the laws, that's going to right the wrongs. That includes the people who sit on your school boards. You have to vote on off years. Every single year, there are people who's sitting on your school boards who's putting in the goddamn librarians and that kind of stuff. That's come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. You want reparations, then vote for them. You gotta demand shit. As a part of a California reparations, Governor Newsom signs a bill to officially apologize for slavery, but he vetoed others sought by reparations supporters. We don't need your apology. We need some cash. We need some generational wealth. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
We need, you know, unfortunately, and it's something that I think it was, I don't remember who said it, but when Obama became president, somebody said it, and it made sense. I didn't like it, but it made sense that he couldn't come in and just be the president for black people and fix our woes and wrongs and straighten shit up. And I felt that wasn't right. But as the first black president, in order for us to continue to have black presidents, he had to be the president for all of the people. And I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, we need to go forward with this. And apologies are cute, but that's not going to get it.
I think we need with a black president, for me particularly. Yes, if you're going to keep it gully, you know, we have to have a president that speaks for all people, right? But with them being black, oh man, am I frozen again?
Your face is frozen, but I can hear you.
Okay, so let me finish before why does this happen every week around this time too? This is interesting. Okay, so with a black president, I feel like if he or she can identify with some of the things that affect black people and people of color in this country, we are a win. You know, yes, the president has to speak for all of the people. Yes, absolutely. But when you have someone other than a white male who does not identify with folks of color in this country or the plight of folks of color in this country, then that's what we've been getting the whole time. Someone who does not identify, can't identify, and then we had the nerve to hire for the jobs or elect for the jobs presidents that are millionaires. So you know that's well off the stratosphere, or their families had such legacy in the United States with, you know, like father and son elected, and you know, they're just out of touch with what goes on in the country as we are affected by. So having someone like a Kamala in place, or having someone like a Obama, not that I thought that he's going to be a black people only president. No, I would hope not, you know, because then you have a large population of people who aren't black, you know. And if you want to talk about being fair, but someone who is identified and can understand some of the real concerns that we have, and you know, and under, I don't care if it's a DEI, you know, DEI, and I say that because, and don't get me wrong, what I mean by that is that when you have the inclusion part of the DEI, right, the diverse, we're going to have the equity, let's hope we have. But when we have the inclusion, that means that everybody can be included. So if I primarily think like a black woman and know the plight of black women in this country, I then make decisions based on that lens. You know, I can make decisions and not forget that I have that in my lens. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to white men that don't have it in their lens, regardless of how many babies of theirs we birthed. Doesn't matter, or took care of. Doesn't matter. You don't have it in your lens, and it's okay. You know, when you can create united bodies of people that do not think like you, therefore you have a more robust way of governing the nation because you have input from everybody that matters. And we matter.
Absolutely. I agree.
I hope that
100.
wasn't too jumbled, but sometimes my thoughts flow faster than my words. Um, so
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to try to read out loud all that Pop has written here on what's going on with Newsom. It's a lot, so everybody hold on. Okay, hold your thoughts. As part of a California reparations package, Governor Newsom signs a bill to officially apologize for slavery, but he vetoed others sought by reparations supporters.
hmm.
A spokesman for Newsom on Friday stressed that the governor, quote unquote, the governor can only sign measures into law that arrive at his desk, end quote. Some of the bills from the original 14 bill reparations package weren't passed by the legislature, and another is a constitutional amendment going before voters in November. Black caucus members also touted other equity bills that Newsom signed Thursday, but were not in their original reparations package. On Wednesday, Newsom vetoed two of the Black caucus's state slate of bills. One would have created a process for Black families to file a claim with the state if they believe the government seized their property through eminent domain due to discriminatory motives and without providing fair compensation. The other would have required Medi-Cal, the state's public health insurance plan, to cover culturally relevant and medically supportive foods or nutrition interventions when deemed necessary by healthcare providers. Newsom said he vetoed the eminent domain bill, SB 1050, by Senator Stephen Branford because the state agency to carry out its provisions doesn't exist. I thank the author for his commitment to redressing past political injustices, Newsom wrote in his veto message. It allowed what reparations advocates described as a crushing defeat last month. In the final hours of the legislative session, Black lawmakers blocked two reparations bills. One that would have created an agency to review reparations claims, including those of unjust property takings, and another that would have created a fund for future reparations payments. Newsom's office declined to comment on those bills, saying the governor does not typically comment on pending legislation. The caucus cited concerns that the legislature would not have enough oversight over the agency's operations. Assembly member Lori Wilson, the caucus chairperson, declined to comment on the reparations fund bill because it wasn't part of the caucus's priority packages. The bills were blocked after Newsom's administration pushed for the bill to create the agency that would have evaluated claims of unjust property takings to be changed. The proposed changes, which Bradford rejected, would have allocated $6 million to the California State University system to study how to implement the reparations task force's recommendations, according to a document with proposed amendments. Okay. So it doesn't sound like Newsom is 100% anti-reparations. He's like, if we're going to rock the mic, let's rock the mic right. If you're going to do it right. Let's have all our ducks in a row. Let's make sure we have the proper oversight. Let's make sure the money's going where it needs to go. Let's make sure, let's make sure, let's make sure. I'm not mad at that, to answer your question. I mean, there may be more or less to it, but when these things play out publicly, there's a lot of, oh, he denied it, he vetoed it. But there's, we don't look beyond, the instant thing of the big bold letters on the headlines. Newsom vetoes reparations.
Yeah, media, be careful.
But then right up under it, there's a reason, and he's not saying, well, we can't give reparations to black people. We're not doing that. That's not what he's saying. He's saying, come back to me when you got your shit together. He passed a part of it, but there's some parts he's like, we need appropriate oversight. At least that's what I'm reading into what Pop has here. I don't know. Did you hear of, from what I read or what you heard me read, anything different?
I did. It's funny because I do have a history with watching and listening to Gavin Newsom, and again, I like him a lot. But it struck me as being odd when I read the headlines, But then I'm thinking to myself, something else is behind that too, because the headlines don't tell the story, right? So it's important that elections are done, but it's also with regard to reparations, which was started. The most vocal person I've ever heard on it was Sheila Jackson, who, God rest her soul, just passed. She was the biggest advocate for that, and still remains. Because we have to push for that. We have to make sure, as people that want it and that have an opportunity to either get it through either money or land or school education, however they want to, however we see fit that it should be done, we have to make sure that that's part of our push continuously. When you hear about it, do something about it, plug into what's going on with it. I don't think that if it was presented the right way, Gavin would not approve it, at least for the state of California, and hopefully others can adopt, because, a lot of times it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to push up to, to decide, I can imagine it being a lot of work. I watched, what is it, Bill 45, I think it was, with Sheila Lee Jackson out of Texas. A lot of work she put in. She made that her life's work, basically. Regardless to what she was doing, she always came back to that, and got the bill done. So if we're going to expound on her legacy, I think that's what it is, but I see that Gavin can be very close. So we'll see how this happens, but pay attention to it, and spark the conversations. That's what we want, spark the conversations. Like,
absolutely. That's the whole point. That's the point of this right here, right now, is, right, to let's form a think tank. Let's think about this. Let's talk about it. Let's stretch it out. Like, what do we need to do? And so, the question was posed: are local elections the most important? All politics are local. Every election is a local election.
Right.
Most of these black lawmakers are not fully black Americans. That doesn't matter. Once you have a drop of black in you, you black. And I can guarantee you they're getting the black experience.
Yeah, that part.
Because think about Kamala right now. Is she really black? I don't think she's black. I don't know. I heard she's not black and all this shit. Guess what? They treating her ass like she black. They treating her like she's black. And with a coochie. Black with a coochie. That's how they treating her.
Oh.
And Jill Stein. Look, man, I got respect for Cornell. I will please do not recommend me to waste any time. I'm old. I don't have that much more. So unless this is really going to be something that's going to educate me further and give me a new stronger opinion than Jill Stein being a Russian plant, or somebody, because they have, I saw on, I was a part of in a group on Facebook. It was a black something group, and whoever was the moderator in the group started pushing for people to vote for Jill Stein. I was like, ooh, so I'm in one of those Russian groups, one of those Russian plant groups that they talk about, where there's Russian misinformation to try to get you to vote for somebody else, so that Kamala take votes away from Kamala, so that Trump could win. That's all Jill Stein can do for me. And unfortunately, Mr. West, that's if you're on that ballot, I'm sorry for you, because I'm not voting for you. This is not your turn. It's not your turn. And you know that it's not your turn. So what are you doing?
Splitting the vote or giving people an out that really don't.
Yeah, and out for what? This is not the time to have an out. You take that out, you may be put out of your home, out of your freedom to voice your opinion. This show and shows like it, where we are free to talk, if Trump gets in, that shit is over. This ain't this. We can't do this. We cannot do this. You cannot speak about him in a negative if once he becomes president. If that happens, God,
you can't have any opinions that are separate from what they believe.
Freedom of speech will be gone. And Nathan, somewhere you wrote that the birthright was codified in the 14th Amendment. I understand that, but you also understand that if Trump wants to do it, he will be able to do it, and the Supreme Court will not stop him. They will be able to, but they will not. Why? Because those Supreme Court justices that are currently there, they go along with Project 2025.
The majority of them, yeah.
The majority do. That the ones that matter are in the majority, which is why Kamala wants to have one justice per voting district, or whatever district. So she would be able to add justices, which would far supersede those 5 that, and the last 2, come on, man, the way they snuck them in, come on, man. So how do we get away from the 2-party system? The founding fathers never wanted a 2-party system. Right now is not the time. All I'm saying is right now is not the time. Let's get this election done, and let's do it right. And then we have 4 years to think about, to figure out how we're going to do it. If Cornel West or someone else with a real agenda gets together another party, then let's do it. Because I don't care about the D, the R. I care about who's going to do what. I don't care about the party. Why do you care about? Oh no, they're called zebras. So even if they don't have stripes, I go with zebras. But you really like stripes.
Yeah.
Like, come on, go with the freaking people with the stripes. I don't understand. And when is the time? After we get rid of Project 2025 and the danger that it is going to work, that they're going to be able to implement it. Once the risk of that is eliminated or put to the side or something, we'll know when it's time, but the time is not now. The time is not now to even toy with the idea that we would do something that would inadvertently put Trump in the White House,
Hmm.
or another Republican that's smarter than Trump to do 2025
and younger.
and younger.
Because just because Trump won't run again, when he loses, that doesn't mean Vance won't. Because they just look for people that press their agenda forward, and it's the same agenda, same agenda.
And this is true. If someone expresses an opinion that Trump doesn't like, they could be arrested. And that is why this is not the time. I know last election 4 years ago, we said this is the most important election of your lifetime. And at that time, 4 years ago, getting Trump out of office, it was the most important election of your lifetime. And what happened? What happened? Our history in America of having a peaceful transfer of power, even after the Civil War, there was a peaceful transfer of power. These fools done lost their mind, climbing up walls, crapping in the Capitol, putting up a noose to hang the vice president. Are you serious? You want to play with these people? He's talking about letting them out of jail, letting them out of jail. How many people still sitting in jail? Matter of fact, we got a brother just got murdered for a crime he didn't commit.
Right.
He ain't talking about letting him out of jail. He wasn't talking about that. He's talking about letting these people that crapped in the Capitol and stabbing police with the American flag out of jail. Okay? This is not the time to let that fool or anyone in his dominion become the president. We can't have that. We need to codify the Constitution. We need to flip this thing about presidents having immunity. And until we do, unfortunately, see, this is another thing I don't like about Biden. Okay? Yeah, I could say, yeah, they're little, but they work. Okay. So, I'm always gonna be me. It's just a shame, maybe. I don't know.
As you should be.
Yeah, I can't help it.
As you should.
I was born in November, Scorpio. Somebody's got a birthday coming up, huh, Rezzy? But we won't talk about that. Anywho. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm very passionate about it, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone, especially people who are taking the time to sit with us. You could be doing so many other things with your Saturday, but you're spending time with us, and I cannot help but be appreciative and thankful for you spending time with us. So I don't want to come off as being a know-it-all or disingenuous in any kind of way, because sincerely, I'm about you and I'm about me. I'm about us. I'm about we. Great. So we care about policies. Agreed. Yes, of course. Some candidates have great policies, but are kept off the ballot. And I agree with that too. I agree with that 100%.
Yep.
I'm just saying that right now, we have bigger fish to fry. We have an agenda also. Trump has an agenda and we have an agenda, and we have to be on the same page.
Well, he doesn't have his policy, but he does have agenda.
There you go. He has concepts of a plan, but
concepts, yes.
You can see what his true plans are. And he has policies, but he can't talk about them because he knows he won't be elected if he talks about what his policies are.
Because they're all wrapped around
2025. He's not going to tax overtime. That's because there will be no more paid overtime. Understand and believe there will be no more paid overtime, people. It's not going to happen. He's not going to pay. He's not going to charge taxes on Social Security. There will be no more Social Security. I mean, come on. Come on. Let's read Project 2025. Look at it. Hello, you've heard about it. Understand it. Don't take my word. Look at it. Hey, Taja. The time is not now at a few weeks before election.
Right.
This election is a referendum on the future of the United States as a democratic republic.
Facts.
Project 2025 includes a long list of extreme policy recommendations touching on nearly every aspect of American life, from immigration and abortion rights to free speech and racial justice.
Yep.
A number of its recommendations rely on support from the executive branch and from Congress. Many other initiatives are outright unconstitutional.
Fact.
What's up, Basic? How you doing, baby? Same dude who put out a full-page ad in the Times about the Central Park Five, who are now the exonerated five. And what did he say most recently about them? Well, they said they were guilty, so they're guilty.
So please.
However, DNA has shown that they are not guilty, they are innocent, and the person who actually committed the crime admitted that he committed the crime. They have been
He went from knowing full out, yada yada, taking the full page ads. See, this is the New Yorker stuff, right? This is the New Yorker stuff that I'm talking about, that I was talking about earlier. It's not like you're sitting somewhere in Chattanooga, Tennessee, reading a paper about what's happening. When something happens in your home city, there's a pulse that takes place on the streets. You know what I mean? You understand it, you live it, you breathe it. When the Central Park 5 case happened, we knew a large majority. Remember, when you go to court, not all evidence is put out there. Some of it's stricken from the record. You know what I mean? Not all the evidence can be entered. However, we knew, the streets knew, that those children were innocent at that time. At that time, there was a lot of evidence that they did not allow in there at that time. But meanwhile, while they are still fighting for their lives and their parents showing up every day doing that walk, this man was on the other side of that as a New Yorker at the time, with all kinds of conflummox, taking out full-page ads. He's absolutely right. Calling for the death penalty. He's absolutely right. And just being basically what he is now, still a radical riot rebel rouser. That's all he was. But he was paying to do this. And even after, and then the young men went to jail, were proven innocent, not guilty, innocent, right? Because of all the other DNA evidence that we may not have had available at the time. I don't know about that part, but regardless, DNA evidence was part of why they were exonerated.
Yeah.
They get out and he's still doubling down. He still won't say, I made a mistake and, I should not have done that. That was my thinking at the time.
He says he never makes mistakes. He says he's never wrong. This is what this man said.
But well, that's fine. He could also say that. But we see what little it will take to govern his assistance. Same with the Haitians, which I'm glad right now that they are taking measures to do a cease and desist or whatever they're doing politically for their lives. Because you're walking around talking about people eating cat. Listen, y'all sound crazy in these streets. Crazy.
The only thing I'm gonna say, that positive, I guess, in my own weird way that came out of that is eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat. Of course, I'm not talking about cats, but anyway. First of all, I wanted to, Kimberly told her hairdresser about 2025. Her hairdresser had never heard of it. Thank you. Please, let's continue to educate people. Not everybody is on social media.
Right.
So, and not everybody looks at MSNBC and CNN and all that stuff. And they're not really talking about it on your local news too much.
Or can figure it out because, you really have to, who's going to document this? How many pages?
Yeah, so it's thousands of pages, 900 and something. No, so Gigi has actually read it, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted her to come on so she can fill us in on a few specifics that we can have some back and forth about. So, and I believe Nathan has read it, if not the whole thing, most of it. So Nathan can help us as well. So let's see what Pop has here. What is Project 2025? Project 2025 is a federal policy agenda and blueprint for a radical restructuring of the executive branch, authored and published by former Trump administration officials. So he's trying to step away from it, but it's his people.
Mm-hmm.
This was in partnership with the Heritage Foundation, a long-standing conservative think tank that opposes abortion, reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights, immigrants' rights, and racial equity. Trump is oftentimes seen in videos talking with these people and hanging out with them and calling them great people. Project 2025's largest publication, Mandate for Leadership, is a 900-page manual for recognizing the entire federal government agency by agency to serve a conservative agenda. They're gonna fire, if you are a government worker, if you work in the government. I don't care what your title is. I don't care about your union. You're gonna get fired if you're not a Trumper, if you're not a loyalist. What are some plans, proposals included in Project 2025? Project 2025 calls for hundreds of individual policy changes that will impact our constitutional freedoms in every aspect of our lives. Among them are gutting abortion access, severely limiting abortion access nationwide by reversing the FDA's approval of mifepristone, a drug used in medication abortion, and reviving a 19th century law, the Comstock Act, to ban any abortion medications, equipment, or materials from being sent through the U.S. Postal Service. Do you remember hearing about, because even though I lived in the 70s, I was too young to be really involved in it. But in the prior to Roe v. Wade, women were dying in back alleyways with using wire hangers to try to scrape out the
I
baby.
remember the pill that they used to sell. They almost packaged it like homeopathic, but it was an abortion pill that you could take to start your. Yeah, I remember that in pharmacies.
Yeah, and now, even if the fetal heartbeat stops, women are being forced to carry, and doctors are afraid to perform those abortions. I don't even know why they call that an abortion, but the medical procedure to save the mother's life. People who want to have children, even, it doesn't matter if you're a married couple, if you're LGBT, if whatever your situation is that you want to try in vitro or IVF, that's just too much power. To say that women should die if the fetus dies, or they should go to jail for life.
No.
Okay. So
why is it necessary? Were you making this Handmaid's Tale? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you so focused on what people are doing in their households when you've got so much other things that you could be doing, so many other things that you could be doing to make this country, better?
If you're a woman or a man who loves women or care for women, you need to vote for Kamala. It's as simple as that. And blue up and down the line. Mass deportations, targeting immigrant communities through mass deportations and raids, ending birthright citizenship, separating families, and dismantling our nation's asylum system. He keeps saying people coming from mental asylums. He doesn't understand the difference. He thinks asylum seekers are seeking mental asylums.
First of all, like, until we figure out what to do with our homegrown folk, and who knows, they're he has a mantra of where they're coming from. He doesn't know where they're coming from. He does
Although he marries every foreigner coming from a European country.
Yeah, but the idea that he thinks he knows what facilities these people are coming from, he don't know. He doesn't know. He's making this all up. And
I don't care how you get here. I care about what you do once you get here. That's me. Abusing warrantless surveillance, exploiting the executive branch's vast and unprecedented powers to spy on Americans' lives with warrantless surveillance of our data.
That sounds like a freak to me. You're just watching people, because that's what that kind of behavior brings up. Paranoia, though. Paranoia, we already know he's a narcissist. So narcissists generally have a lot of paranoia, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of gaslighting.
That's what they do in Russia.
That's it. So yeah, surveillance is gonna be all over, looking at people, watching how people do, because that they have to. It's paranoia. It's paranoia.
Unleashing undue force on protesters, violating the First Amendment by using federal law enforcement to target journalists and protesters.
Yeah.
And if you're like me and you like left-wing news media, I really enjoy it. Although I peek at the other side and then I'm like, reclaiming my time, because at first they'll start saying something that makes sense. I'm like, okay, all right, I can see why they think that way. And then they say some lie and bullshit shenanigans. Anyway, he's going to shut down MSNBC and those other left-leaning. So I won't know what the fuck is going on. Okay. All the social media will be tapped into and all that shit will shut down, and we'll have to back wing it somewhere in private where I don't know what. And there'll be a spy there who's going to tell. I'm going to be too old for all that shit. So there that go. Severely limiting voting access, abusing executive power to interfere in our elections by criminalizing the voting process and damaging fair representation. That's what's going on in Russia. That's why Putin just keeps,
And they clearly don't have term limits in Russia.
Yeah. Okay. Censoring. The only reason I'm only going to read Pop's documents here, his comments about 2025, because we're about to end the show. So I just want to get this in for your information. Censoring critical discussions in classrooms, censoring academic discussions about race, gender, and systemic oppression in violation of the First Amendment, and promising to cut federal funding for schools with curricula that touch on these subjects. No more learning about Black history in schools. No more learning about LGBTQ issues. None of that. None of that. It's all going to be about how great the white man is. Sorry, but that's what it's going to be. Rolling back trans rights, weaponizing federal law to require states and private actors to discriminate against transgender people by threatening to sue schools that protect the rights of trans students, or telling hospitals that they would lose their Medicaid funding if they provide gender affirming medical care to trans adolescents. You know how much that's going to harm those young people. Project 2025 is a horror novel for anyone who cares about American democracy. I agree. Project 47 versus Project 2025. Say what's the difference between? There's very little difference. Women who miscarry will be affected by this change. That's right. That's why they're dying. They're dying unnecessarily. And I personally would sue the government. You know, that's all you can do. You got to sue. Project 2025 also allows the military to be used for domestic law enforcement. That's if you're marching, you know, peaceful protesting. Our society, hi Chike, our society will be morphed into what we see on Star Wars, the dark side versus the rebels. He will be Darth Vader.
Absolutely. He's Darth Vader now. Shoot. Hey, Chica. Yeah.
No more Black History Month, Latino History Month, and other observation activities on college campuses.
Yep.
And I just want to say thank you so much, Pop, for that. Trump said he wants 1950 back.
Mm.
Well, as Kamala says, we're not going back. Please vote. Please vote.
Please.
Vote blue. I don't give a shit. Yes, I'm giving you a strong suggestion. I'm telling you what to do. God damn it. Sue me. I don't give a shit. Vote blue up and down the line because we don't want that. We don't want that because once we get that, we can't go back.
Mm-mm.
We can't go back.
Vote blue. You know what to do.
I don't know, you know, how else to say it or what else to say it. What else to say?
And please share with your social media contacts, your friends, and you don't have to single anybody out. You can do a mass post just reminding people to register, reminding people of the telephone number that we have, reminding people if you have, you know, an issue there, reminding people if they get there and you're not registered after checking that you do have the right to request a, what is the vote? Request a, what is the name of the vote, JaVonne?
Ask Pop. I'm looking for it now.
It's something Nathan.
Oh, Nathan said that.
Yeah.
Something starts with a P. What'd you say, Nathan?
Provisional. Is it provisional?
Provisional.
Yeah. If you
Yeah,
get
I'm
there
looking
and you
for that
find out that
number.
you're not registered, first of all, when you get there, unless you didn't check, which I recommend everybody, just go online. It takes like 5 seconds to check to see if they have not kicked you out of the system as a registered voter, particularly if you are a Democrat. Check to make sure that you are still in the system as a registered voter for your area. And when you get there, if it got kicked out some kind of way, ask for a provisional vote. They have to give it to you, and make it a point saying, no, I'm not staying here. I'm not leaving here till I rock my vote. I need a provisional ballot, and making sure that all the candidates that you see that you want are on that ballot. Ask for a supervisor if you have to.
Yes, and here's the short-term assignment. Take down this number 1-866-687-8683. Share it. If anyone tries to stop you from voting, call the Election Protection Hotline. That's 1-866-687-8683. Also, the other part of the assignment for this weekend is this week until next week, we're gonna try to watch the movie on Prime, Civil War. We got special guests coming up next week to talk about their book. Rezi, you could tell us who it is.
Oh, I don't have that information pulled up in front of me, but yes, we do have a special guest on next week that you'll enjoy to give you some give us a little break from the election stuff. We can talk about positive things that people are doing in the world. You'll see it posted prior to in our social medias. But yeah, we do have a guest coming on next week.
Absolutely. So with that, I'm gonna let y'all go, and just know that you are loved. You deserve to be protected. You are appreciated, and we'll see you next go round.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace, party people.
What's up, y'all? This is Dawn Robinson, formerly of In Vogue and Lucy Pearl, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. My girls. I love y'all.
Hi, this is Mason. You're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Perfect.
It's Leon. It's right, Leon, for some of your favorite movies, and I'm at brunch in the basement with Terez and JaVonne. Stay here with me. Stay here with me. Stay here with me.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today.
Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody.
Whatever it is, it's gonna be good. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
All our bosses though, Jay. She's got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out.
You can send me some cologne, because I mean, you know, yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
And we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
well, thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.